It is time to do the unthinkable, and it is to put this motor into this now clean chassis.
Yeah. Come on, man, that's too easy.
Okay. You guys know how much I love these things, and so when it's time to do impactful work, God, I'm turning into a dad with all the puns. The 3/8 little stubby, I bought this at Home Depot, does the job. Very impressed with this, but upgraded to the 1/2 inch for some of the more serious stuff. Of course, suspension, even putting the motors together, taking them apart, this thing is phenomenal. But there's only one moment, especially with having a 3, 4, or 6 rotor engine, that you might need a little more. Oh, that's one of the coolest unboxings I've ever done. It was actually upside down, right side up. This is a minigun, a machine gun, a Gatling gun. I have wanted this for a long time. Oh my God. While I busted a nut opening this thing's capable of nut busting as well. And it's got way more force than I do. The nut busting power on this thing is up to like 2,000 foot-pounds of torque. That's way more than I can put down. The biggest reason we got this was actually over here. That is one big lug nut, really.
It's rusty too.
Yeah, and we have not gotten a socket for this yet, but now we can to try and get these off after I've sprayed this twice with PB Blast over the last like 3 months just to keep reminding it who's boss. And we look like a professional race team. So I just went down to McFadden, and $148 later, which is reasonable pricing, I have a 2.5 inch by 1 inch socket. This thing is beef. And so, thankfully this thing doesn't spin super fast. And then there it goes. It's already off. Now I don't want to spin it too much because I know there's a retainer ring. If I started pushing it out further, I think you have to kind of push that in. Look at that. Kind of like a self-centering bevel there. That's sick. We have a little bit of a weird opportunity right here. Check this out. So Valvoline had sent me this back when we started doing all the unicorn stuff with the 4-rotor for oil analysis. Well, I was opening up the alternator area and oil started leaking from up here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get as much oil as I can without it being contaminated from the outside. I got a decent amount, but this is a unique opportunity for us to send this off to Valvoline and see what oil was in this motor, and of course if there's anything in there. But you can see it's certainly used.
What would you say that feels like to you?
I'm gonna say that's medium to thick. It's definitely not a 020. I'd say like a 1040 or maybe even thicker. I mean, you can see how like it's also a little cold in here. Yeah, I'd say 1040. That would be my guess. And this has been sitting for a long time, but I'm hoping to see like what sort of zinc content is in here, whatnot, because we're gonna make sure this engine will run well with Valvoline. This entire Indycar project has me scratching my head and almost pulling my hair out, but you know where this is going. Thanks to Keeps, I actually have hair on my head to pull out, and this car is certainly going to push my limits. Now, what is kind of neat, not just making cheesy puns, but actually seeing results, is that you can see there's a whole new set of hair just kind of all coming back up. It's 1/2 inch, almost 1 inch long. And so it's really neat to see that coming back in. And that's an amazing part of seeing hair regrowth while using Keeps. 2 out of every 3 men experience male pattern baldness by the time they are age of 35. I'm 2 weeks away from celebrating my 39th birthday? Yet I have more hair now than I did back in 2018, 2017, when I first started using Keeps. There's a lot of different solutions, all backed by science. You can see all the information on their website. It just answers any question you ever had about hair loss or preventing hair loss. And it also helps for a person like me who's afraid to go to the doctor's office. You can do everything through their websites. It's wonderful. And right now, you can actually get 50% off of your first order if you go to keeps.com/RobDahm. That's KEEPS.com/RobDahm. It is a new day, well, night. That's how the daylight savings time is working for us. But it is time to do the unthinkable, and it is to put this motor into this now clean chassis. A couple major issues. None of us have ever been on a race team, and the engine needs to be disassembled a little bit more to make it manageable to do that. Take this part out, put blocks under the thing, and then drop it in there. Well, then you're setting the motor on top of carbon. That sounds like a really dumb thing to do. So we are going to pick the car up, take the flat bottom off, and you'll see that really you'll be left with like this real thin rat-like structure. It'll be basically like a front half without any rear legs, like the dog from Family Guy, you know, the old guy's dog, just with the front wheels and nothing else. We are going to take the CDI ignition off, and then I've already undone these bolts here. It looks like more complicated than it is, but these are just basically tension bolts, and then you adjust this base here to bring the manifold up or down. All 4 of these have been removed, and so this should just pop off. What is it? Nothing.
There's actually bolts and stuff right here.
Yeah, so see, for those of you guys that this is your first video of this car, look at this. All ITB, individual throttle body, both of these arms control both of those, but look at this. This was like some sort of damper, and it was all hidden under here. And the reason I know it's not electronic is there's no other wire hole protruding from here. So you can see that there's this for that one and this for that one, but nothing else. So whatever's in there is mechanical.
Yeah, my favorite part is the barrel throttle, because that's insane.
Yeah.
That's like casted into the head. I don't know how the hell you even machine that out.
Yeah.
It's the vacuum plate.
So then here's the fuel rail. It would have been connected to that. And there's the fuel rail harness that we pinned out already. There's 2 of them. That's business. That's beefy. Now the downside to this harness is these are EV1 connectors. ID injectors use whatever it is, US car 6 or US car, whatever. There's EV14, I don't know. You guys know. There's the throttle body like that, closed, open, and you can see the valves. This engine has 4 valves per cylinder. I always want to say rotor, but
So proud.
thank you. Yeah, that was that. You hear that? Yeah. Don't even edit that out. Leave that hesitation. That hurt my soul. Wide open throttle, completely closed, and
Yeah, man,
I pulled that.
That's serious. This is like performance. There's nothing in the way, like, butterfly valve. You have it in the way that, turbulence and stuff like that. This is just straight there.
So it's wild because you can see the 2 valves, which is why the 2 barrels are like that, and then you can actually see the other 2 valves of the exhaust. Yeah, there you go. That's wild. It's all wood.
Is this mahogany?
Nice maple. Yeah. We're gonna take all these panels off to then be able to get to probably countersunk bolts. As you saw earlier, we were able to do this with this thing. It's absolutely insane. But it's been a couple months since we did that, and so this is honestly overkill for this. But I just need to remember which way.
Always to the back to loose.
What do you mean to the back?
So this side, at least for Subaru fail, that side loosens it. That side loosens it.
Which part goes to the back?
So to loosen it, it's supposed to be that way. On that side, to loosen it, this is supposed to be that way. So
Okay,
right
again.
on.
Again.
Okay, to loosen this wheel, it should be back that way.
The question is, what goes back?
The
You
nut.
see, what part of the nut?
There's only one part of the nut, right?
No,
this is supposed
that
to
rotates clockwise or counterclockwise?
This is supposed to rotate counterclockwise. Right
Okay.
here, yes.
Yes. So the top of the nut goes to the back, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna. It feels like it's tightening almost.
Okay, come this way.
Yeah. So that is clockwise. So the top goes to the front. That is a reverse thread on this side. So we turn
This side should be the opposite of that.
Yeah.
That's actually cool because you can't lose a nut.
I can.
I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
What Isaiah's talking about is this little notch right there, this little spring-loaded thing. That will prevent it from completely falling off. Those have to be ridiculously light.
Oh, you never took the wheel off?
I never took it fully off.
He just undid the nut and
Yeah.
called it a day.
Yeah, I got mine. Check this out. Inside of here, that little flange right there is where the wheel speed sensor sits, which is just a little magnetic sensor. And each of those teeth count as a pulse. Now, technology's gotten so much better, we're going to definitely upgrade this with like 60 teeth per revolution, tone rings as they call them. So we'll have even more accuracy than they did, like 10 times more accuracy than they did back in 97. At first, this scared me because I thought that was the bearings gone. But it's actually, I already loosened this one. I'd forgotten about it. Old me loves to play tricks on me. Because I'd heard it do that. You know, that's a wheel bearing.
Yeah, when we were moving it.
Uh-huh.
Wow, this one has 6 markers instead of the 4 in the front.
Brake caliper goes here. Rotor goes, you know, probably on that lip, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The rotors on the race cars were actually really thin.
Yeah. With these, I don't believe that there's actually the ABS wheel in here. It's right here. So again, not nearly as frequent of a thing. It's a ring that either can be pushed on or relayed off, and then we'll actually push a much finer tooth thing onto there. You know what I realized this car is? Basically a really advanced Lego set, but it's for the age group above mine.
How wide is this? Yes.
14-inch wide.
14 and a half, damn.
Yeah.
Same. 405. Yeah, it's not going anywhere unless we push it off.
You know, this is one car you don't really feel too nervous under because, like, if it falls on me, I'm just gonna bench press it up, pretty much, you know.
So I found something kind of bad about the car.
The driver, the owner.
Fuck both you guys. I hate both you. This makes sense, right? That's the toe arm. Cool. Let's look at the other side. That is not good. I just noticed that. Look at that. There's 5 washers in there. So this car was damaged at some point and they just left it that way. Does he get to hang out with us?
Ooh. Here, Rob, you wanna grab this for me? Holy fuck. Jeez.
Arts and crafts time.
What's underneath here? Look at this.
Yeah, that's definitely what bolts the chassis to the flat bottom.
No, there's nothing that goes into here. The threads in them look like they're part of this, not like they thread into the chassis, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice. To be honest, I don't know what the fuck's holding it up.
I have all the bolts off the bottom, so the only thing that's holding this on are these little linkages, but you see that?
Oh.
So, the linkages are holding on.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Curious how this is going to go, but we're going to start pulling these off. I guess you're holding all. Yeah, I'm holding it.
Yeah, I got it from underneath. We're gonna slide it back a little bit.
Go back. There's a magic 8-ball.
What? There's no way.
That is so epic.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That looks crazy.
Yeah.
It looks like
I
a
say,
fighter
it's
jet.
It's a very thin. This is why I'm not finished with the 4-rotor yet, because look at how much the flat bottom is the car. You can see the car is technically still together. The flat bottom is so much of what makes the body and everything. So it's like so multi-purposed. I'm so impressed with it.
Look at all this room for extra activities now.
And I washed the shit out of this thing. Velcro.
Melted off.
Hey.
Oh, double-sided tape.
No, it's Velcro.
No,
It is Velcro.
I don't believe
No.
it. I don't know. This is trash. This is trash.
Yeah.
This is Joel's almighty Velcro.
Yo.
That is his wettest of wet dreams.
I'm happy for you for this. Honestly,
Yeah.
like that.
This is
That's
Joel's moment.
this.
I was joking. I was confidently.
I thought it was double-sided tape at first too.
You see how strong that Velcro was?
Oh,
Well, the Velcro didn't Velcro. I mean, it is also 26 years old.
cooler. If we take the wing off.
We can just do what you want. This is your
Well, I mean, I want to like convince myself that it makes sense to take the wing off.
we should take the wing off. It'd be easier.
Okay.
Fucking in love with these bolts. These bolts are badass.
The perfect car is the sum of perfect parts.
There's the camber plates right there. They actually have 2 little notches in these things, and so you pick up at one and then pull the other one out, so you don't have to completely undo the suspension. We have to pendulum it. I just want to see.
The active
This
arrow.
is active. Yeah, this is active arrow. Exactly.
You have to let it go. Wonder how I could. Damn.
You know the problem with this car is it's just going to raise our quality of work too high. The 4-rotor is going to be fast compared to our next projects. There we go. God, all this stuff is just so light.
What the heck?
It looks weird. Look how weird this looks.
It looks like a bulldog or whatever. The dogs where they have that nubby tail.
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what this looks like.
And guys, today here we have a special guest, my friend Tito. After general conciseness, we're gonna take this off like men, grabbing it and pulling it out. You know, nothing crazy, nothing wild, just brute force. Oh, you see it separating? Oh, shit.
Yeah. That's good.
I'm scared.
That means it's working. This is a moment I've wanted to have for the last, year and a half years since we've gotten this. Is really, truly committing to this project. No better way than, cutting it in half, basically. It exposes everything. And there's small little nuances about this car that excite me that, like, for example, a center lock, instead of the 5 lugs or 6 lugs or 4 lugs, means that there's no wheel nut. There's no nut to the axle stub. There's just the wheel. So that means that the drive shaft or the axle must just be splined and that's it. There's no way of locking it to the hub, but maybe not. Maybe there's something else. But it's just all these cool little things about this car that really make me fascinated. Now, the scary part is it's acting like it's a solid rear diff. I'm just going to assume that whatever's in here is a lost cause, sadly. What is the car at this point? That's just a driver's seat.
We're ready to unload it here a little bit.
Pick it up a little.
Okay.
Whoa.
So now it's on the jack. We could slide it, but I think all of us need to hold it.
Are you 3 good enough?
No, you gotta set up the camera. You gotta be a part of this moment.
Yeah.
Come on, man, that's too easy.
Kind of right here. That is.
Put your legs on your back. Oh, wait.
Is the carbon gonna hit? Yep.
Here. Okay, smart.
No. It's on the carbon a little bit. See?
Yeah. The transmission is the suspension. The motor is the chassis. That is such a crazy concept. And this is obviously 4 bolts. This comes off.
That's metal.
Yeah, that's just. I was pretty sure it wasn't wood, so I was onto that. I was getting there.
I can show you some wood.
Hey, where are you going?
I don't take pictures anymore of my dick. I only take videos, just because. Just straight to the point. You know, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it right.
That's genuinely how he talks when he doesn't know the camera's running. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That was Isaiah's solution back in the day. Like, what do I do with this girl? Just send her a dick pic. I'm like, dude, no, not yet. Yeah, just send her a dick pic.
Where does it fit? Let me see.
We just started talking today.
Oh, here we go.
Go ahead. All yours. Legs.
I can't.
Go left, right. Nice. Yeah, the
This
way
is
the
machined
So it has
for this.
so it loads here and here, but not here. Check that out.
Wow.
Here and here is probably real precise. And then right here it's cut down.
Question
It
now,
might be.
do you think all 4 works is still strong enough to put it on like that? The way we took it off. Slide it in there. It is not that heavy. That was super light.
That was super light.
I think that
But the
is
problem is
kinda
once we
heavy.
put it on there, either way we have to support the engine from the bottom.
The engine you could do with the jack once you
Yeah,
get it
yeah.
here.
Yeah, like we can put it on a jack and then just roll it. Because otherwise, say we get all 4 of us in there, we screw it in, now it's hanging. This is just, just like your manifold, just about $20 out.
Is this what it feels like for you?
This is how much I die on the inside.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay, cool.
So this is the moment that it's gotten the closest to being in the spot it really needs to be in. The moment that this goes in here, I'm gonna realize how much more work we actually have to do. But again, like the beginning of this whole series was focus. Just focus on specific things and don't get overwhelmed. It's gonna get overwhelming really quick.
The big tank right here. Oh, there. This is Rob's famous.
It works, it works.
Yeah, that's why it's so famous.
Okay. So it should twist it this way. So what'll happen is this whole thing will come over like that. Okay, so it should turn this way to right here. That was my goal.
Should we just slide it in like this?
Yeah, 100%.
Can we straighten this up? It's falling on the back.
It's gonna hit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Who's the engineer behind this? Dumbass.
That's okay.
Can we bend it, 90?
Oh yeah, it's just
Who's
a Harbor
the
Freight.
engineer behind that?
Can you bring a crescent wrench or something?
You know,
Grab it.
let's not focus on blame right now. Just that's how it's done. Kinda.
But when I want to break shit, it's a problem.
There you go.
There you go.
good right there.
I think we're falling a lot back. So
Yeah, just pick it up and slide it forward.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to put all the hardware back on the right spots that they came from, so that way we don't lose any of it.
I guess this is a piston turbo, right?
Wow. That engine got so much smaller being put in here, and it's hilarious walking back from the front. It looks like a pod racer from like the Star Wars prequels. It looks hilarious. I mean, it's not the long block, but it's not like just a short block without heads, but it looks like it's missing a lot to that.
All this is the intake manifold.
Yeah, that's it. That's a lot of stuff in such
I thought rotaries were small. I'm not gonna lie to you. This isn't really much bigger.
I think the only reason why these get bigger is because the necessary evil of the intake manifold and the exhaust is so at weird angles that it just forces the engine to be.
I mean, that is another thing. You have 2 exhaust manifolds and everything else. But it's pretty cool because you could see like you put the collector down here. This one obviously comes right here to be the longest. And you put this one all the way over here. This one, and it just all goes.
Yeah, what did I say? As soon as we put this in, we'd be staring at it and coming up with new things. And he was doing it before we even took the engine hoist off of it. I saw him do it. I was like, wait, focus. Really cool and wild to be said about the fact that everybody in here is obsessed with this when there is this directly behind you.
You're just gonna take my
Yeah,
joke?
yeah, I'm gonna take your
He
joke.
does that a
Yeah.
lot.
Are you okay this week?
Yeah, I came up with that.
Imposter. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I was thinking of like funny things to say off camera, and I was like, guys, hit me with something, and all their stuff was trash. But no,
I was
Isaiah
just sitting right
said,
here. My natural thought, I was like, man, the photo's over there screaming for
natural
attention.
thought, dick pic videos, and I'm over here thinking about like the inspiration of the
Some
room.
of them hit, some of them don't.
I will tell you what, Isaiah always swings for the fences. He never bunts it. He never goes for a first or a double or whatever other baseball analogy. He's pointing all the way out there, and his batting average.
Better than Grant.
It is incredible that we're all just like enamored by this thing, and we have the 4-rotor in the same shop. That really was an amazing thing to think about how cool this project is. But we're gonna go back to staring at it. You guys ready for a really bad moment? This is 30 years in the making. Oh, that hurts. That hurts my soul. Okay, so this is why I took this one apart. Now, I have 2 of them, but I don't think that we're going to be able to use the other one. But the other one's the one that's on the car. These wires, as I suspected, are insanely small. These are either 22 or my theory is that they're even smaller. They're 24 gauge wire. What blows my mind, and maybe somebody else watching this will know, is that injectors, like all the ID injectors, modern injectors, are high impedance, high resistance, so they don't require as many amps to open and close. Older injectors used to require a lot of power. I'm going to cut them back further, figure out the gauge of the wire. The reason I'm cutting this one apart is this, like I said earlier, is the one type of connector. I want this. I want these connectors because it's just a really cool setup, so we're going to go ahead and take this off as well. They literally did it all individually. I would expect there to be 2 crimps total, and that's for the power. 2 injectors share power. I've got the boot cut back. Oh, look at, they use a lot of the tape. They use like that's like PTFE tape. Look at that. Normally you use this to cover the wires, and then you glue the shit out of everything in here. The 4 power lines all spliced together. I'm gonna cut that open and even look at those, but that's not really the point of this. Let's see.
Didn't really concentrically twist anything though.
No, you're right. It doesn't look. I mean, this is also 30 years ago. Look at, they did have. Oh, they had the proper stress relief. Yeah. So maybe I just cut it too short, which made sense because look at that. That's when I pulled on it. And then, sure enough, as my wiring pinout suggests, they only used the first 12.
Oh wow.
So there's 8 injector signals and then 4 injector powers, and then they splice them like this. They could have, in theory, since they had all these pins, they could have had the splice before or whatever and had all 8 and 8 going through here. But that's a design choice there. So I'm gonna try and depin this and see what type of pins these are. Yeah, there we go. Those are color coded. It looks like, I don't know, orange, green, black, something like that. So we'll see if we can get these pins, because everything else is reusable. And everything else is still the same as it was 30 years ago. So this is blowing our minds right now. This is the G35 900. And this is the turbo necessary for making 900 horsepower. For us, we're so used to the G42 being 1,000 horsepower because of the rotary engine just absolutely choking everything, making it call it daddy. This case, this is way less daddy. So this is actually supposed to fit. What's this?
Oh, there's bolts up top. Oh, yeah. So this bolts onto this.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, so that, oh, wow.
But you can see from, well, I'll just kind of keep it right here.
That makes so much more sense.
This will sit right here, and then all of the 4 injectors sit and spray fuel right into this. Now, we have a couple major advantages. The turbo from 1997 was a Garrett, but it wasn't the ball bearing, it wasn't the G series, it didn't have this compressor surge, it had so many fewer features and modern machining, all of that sort of stuff, the exhaust wheel, everything that Garrett has done since 97 is absolutely insane. That goes in there, this comes up out of here and goes straight to the motor, the exhaust side, this guy right here, just comes out this hole right here and then goes down that Velcroed piece out there. It looks deceiving, but the 2 runners from each bank go through right here.
Damn.
And so then they just both hook in, kind of, actually it's on a slight angle. Yeah,
It's a pass-through for the oil?
Yeah, it's a pass-through for the oil.
Oh, wow, so this sits right there. They have a turbo mount.
Yeah, they have a turbo mount right here.
That's
Oil
really
comes
nice.
down onto that, and then it would come out through right here.
Wow,
and
that's
then-
actually, all that just made sense in my head. Wow.
Yeah, and then the oil feed, this is the oil feed line.
Oh.
So, obviously we'll modify that as it, but it's very compact there. And then there's another line right here. This is the oil return that to the dry sump. So that right there goes to right here. And that, sure enough,
It goes from right here.
yeah,
Nice. Boom, boom.
yeah, it goes in. Look at this. They drilled it and then they blocked it, but it goes zig, zag, boom. So that's our oil return. So we're actually gonna make a mount that bolts the turbo down to here. Oh, this one's even blocked. That's hilarious. They kept getting them, one way or another. So
That's
the oil return line is badass on this thing.